Okay, everybody, thanks for tuning in again. Today we are going to do a seared and then roasted pork tenderloin with a pretty simple spice rub and super easy. So let's get to it. I have about 1.75 pounds beautiful pork tenderloin that I have rinsed and patted dry. You can use a pork roast, but it's called tenderloin for a reason. You're going to get a more tender fillet. You're going to get a juicier pork. So this is what I recommend. I've done the pork roast before. They're great for big crowds. If it's a small group, go with the tenderloin. So again, rinsed and patted dry, and I have here all the spices that I've used. I've got coriander, I've got salt, I've got garlic powder, and I've got Italian seasoning, and of course some fresh ground black pepper. That has all gone into my bowl here, and I will put up those measurements now. To that, I'm just going to add a couple tablespoons of some light olive oil, something with a high heat factor, just because we are going to be searing our pork tenderloin first. So while I'm doing this, I actually have my cast iron skillet that is on a medium-high heat that's getting nice and scorching hot so that I can put a nice sear on my pork tenderloin. So I'm just going to mix that spice rub in with a little bit of that olive oil, and then I'm going to go ahead, put some gloves on, and I'm just going to rub this bad boy down and coat it really good. You can pierce it, with a fork if you want. I always skip that step, but I'm sure that might help to have these penetrate a little bit better. So just really kind of rub those spices in. Again, make sure it's dry, folks, as dry as you can get it, so that this stuff will really stick. Oil and water don't mix, so if it's wet, you're going to have a hard time getting this spice rub to stick to it. So, and then once I've used up all my rub, I'm just going to kind of get all the spices I currently have on it and kind of evenly rub it all in there. And so we are going to just do a nice sear on all sides. And while my pan is also heating, you can preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Make sure you've got a rack somewhere in the middle of the oven. That's where we want to place our tenderloin, if at all possible. So it looks like I've got just about every inch covered here. So I am going to go ahead and throw this right on my cast iron skillet. And I'm just going to place that. That's a good sound. When you hear that sizzle, that means it's going to give it a nice sear. It means the pan is nice and hot, and that's what we're looking for. I'm going to leave it probably for about, I'd say anywhere between 30 seconds and a minute on each side. And I'll show you what that looks like when it's done. I love to serve this dish with some sort of potatoes on the side. I'll sometimes do a roasted potato, and I can actually throw it even on the pan, the same pan that I'm going to put the pork loin in the oven with. You could put some vegetables on there too, like broccoli or Brussels sprouts are really good. Let's just take a look. I'm going to give it a few more seconds. I really want to go for like a nice crisp. You want to make sure you don't burn it, but you want to give it a nice brown crispy outside. And what that's going to do is when it's roasting, finished roasting in the oven, it's just going to lock in all those juices, so it's not leaving the meat, so it's going to keep it nice, super moist and juicy. Alright, that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to, if I have to use my tongs to kind of hold it in place, because you really want to get every side of the tenderloin. So don't skimp on this step. Don't skip this step. This step is really important for this particular dish. There's other ones where you could just throw it in the oven, but I think getting that sear is so important. And as you can see, that's what you're going for, that kind of crust on the outside. I'm going to finish up searing all my sides, and then I'm going to put it on a sheet pan that I have lined with aluminum foil. Again, the oven is preheating at 350. Come back and show you what we're working with when we're all done here. Okay guys, so this is what it looks like after I'm done searing it on all sides. Beautiful. It smells so good. It's gonna smell and taste even better when it's done. Now I even, just a tip, I even hold it up on the ends just to even sear those ends, because that's where the juices will come out of. So make sure not just to sear all the sides, but try and get your each end as well. Okay, so I'm going to put this in the oven for about anywhere between 20 to 28 minutes, and I'll use my meat thermometer to check for doneness, and I'll show you what we're looking like when we're all done. Okay guys, so I am letting my pork tenderloin rest on my cutting board, and you can see all those delicious juices. In fact, I need to do a better job of catching them, but coming out of it. So it's been resting for about 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and cut it, and I'm just going to enjoy myself a little piece. And there we go guys, this is divine. I think you guys are really going to enjoy this. I know my family and I do. My girls love it. Look at that. So moist, so juicy. That's good. Sorry, it's rude to talk with your mouth full. Anyway, so juicy. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to come back to the Clean Cuisine for more simple, fast, healthy dishes that your whole family will love. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe.